go ahead and get started for the February 20th, 2025 committee meeting for the Merrill Enrichment Center. And no one's joining us. I guess we don't need to do it.
There might be. Is anyone joining us? I thought it said there was.
Okay, well, just,
phone?
yes, if you are, we'll just go around and do introductions here so you know who's in the room with us, okay? I'm Laura Bertignoli.
Carol Holst.
Mark White, 7th District.
Tammy Marajek.
Sharon Harvey.
Jay Telesky.
Gene Bevel.
So thank you for joining us. Moving on.
Jill,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
this is Jill Seaton with Inclusive.
Oh, hi, Jill.
Great.
Hello.
Wonderful. Okay, going on to consent items. Everyone had a chance to look over the meeting minutes from January.
I have these in them.
I will move approval.
I'll second it.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And approval of January to February vouchers. Have we had a few people had a chance to look through, or those that wanted to? No?
I
I didn't.
I think
haven't seen it.
they're right here. The recap is right here, which,
Oh, this third.
Or we could come back to that in a few minutes if we'd like.
if everybody wants to look over it a little more. Okay, okay, we can come back.
Okay. All right. Moving on to number 3, public comment. Anyone on committee have any comments? In community? No? Okay. Jill, anything you'd like to share?
Not at this time. This is my first time attending. I've been wanting to for some time, so I'm kind of just gonna see how this goes.
Okay, great. Well, we do have this point at which we do public comments, so anyone is certainly welcome to chime in on that. So, all right, for ADRC, did we get any updates from?
I did not. Jennifer was going to send me some updates. I emailed Erin, but she must be not in the office. So the ADRC, what I will share with you is that we are fortunate enough to have the ADRC coming to run a 8-week workshop, and it aligns beautifully with what we focus on here a lot too, is boosting your brain and memory, your wellness, your overall well-being. So this is a new offering for them. She did say that it may only be 6 or 7 weeks. They went through the training and they added a week 8, and so she's going to kind of see, if it is going to be, but that's still quite a bit. It'll meet Wednesdays starting April 2nd and going through May 21st from 1 to 2:30 here. And we do have limited space for that, but I think, this conference room can fit at least a dozen. So week 1 is an introduction, week 2 is physical activity. They talk about that in the brain. Week 3 is emotional health and how it affects the brain and memory. Intellectual activities, a nutrition section, which I really like because I feel like what you feed your body helps your brain, right? And then 6 is a spiritual activity. Week 7 is social engagement, and then week 8 is kind of a wrap-up. So she thinks, depending on the class size and how things go, it might just be 6 weeks or it might be the full 8 weeks. So I'll pass that around so you can all just take a glimpse at it, and we're very excited to have that opportunity.
Scott Seeger was on the radio recently,
Okay.
plugging it.
Oh, good. And Jennifer Thompson, I believe, is the other. They kind of work together. And they've been here before for quite a few other things with the memory workshops. So yes, they both went through some training for that, I think. I don't know how long the training was, but I'm glad to hear that they're also pushing that.
And there's no charge for that.
Correct. Our workshops are no charge. The ADRC also does have a caregiver support group, which I think is really important. The Parkinson's group that we run here, I know that sometimes the caregivers aren't able to break away separately from the person that they might be caring for, but I think it would be nice if they could possibly take advantage of this. So that is the fourth Monday of the month from 10:30 to noon at the ADRC office. But they do have virtual participation as an option. So that might be good for those who are taking care of somebody and can't get away. So we have those two offerings for them through the ADRC. And that is all I have for the updates for ADRC that I have available to me. Has anybody else heard anything that's going on with the ADRC?
They've been plugging a lot of things in Vilas County.
Oh, okay.
I listened to Tomahawk Radio, and Channel 12 has had some
Oh.
things on.
Okay,
So it's like they're not going away
good,
that way.
good. And I have 0 updates on any Meals on Wheels, so yeah, at this point, I think that's.
And that is one of the things they're plugging up there. They're recruiting people to come.
Oh, okay. Dining sites?
Yes.
Nice, nice.
Remind me, does this ADRC cover Vilas County? Or is that different? Does anyone know?
I
That's
think
what they're calling themselves.
Yes. You
Well,
mean
ADRC's all through the state.
Central,
Yes,
Central
yes.
Wisconsin. I don't know, you mean in
Like,
our
yeah,
ADRC
yeah.
cover way up there?
Yeah.
That's a really good question. I don't know if they reach that far north or if that becomes a different
Yeah.
group for the ADRC.
But it's good, all
Yeah.
the way around, if
Yeah.
Yeah,
services are being, right.
I can ask though.
I'm
I'll ask to see.
just curious, not
Yeah.
that important.
Okay.
Okay, great. I guess coming back to the, Mark, did you have, you wanted to look at that? I just
Yes.
had one question on
Yes,
the
of course.
vouchers. Just coming back to the vouchers, on the weights on there, remind me, is that part of the Strong Bodies money that came in for those? Because I think that's on revenue, $600 and some dollars.
Yes, and that's under Strong Bodies. So the funding comes out of the Strong Bodies account.
Okay.
Mhm. We are getting more people, but also our people are graduating to the next level of weights, and we didn't have enough weights for them. Yeah, yep, so good question.
And one other thing with that, are those weights also the same weights that can be used for Gigi's
Mhm.
class? Okay.
If they wish. I don't think they usually use the ankle, the wrap, the
No, not
double
typically.
ankle wraps and
I
such.
haven't seen it.
But they do use them as far as the hand weights go. We have a rack in the closet that's kind of more dedicated for Gigi's group, but she's been getting 50 plus people, or 45, 50 people.
Right.
So they will go to the cart and also share those, and we just ask that they put them back on the Strong Bodies cart.
Okay.
But they're essentially, both of them are ours, our weights.
Because I thought there had been some discussion about maybe needing more weights
Yes.
for some of those
Yep.
Gigi's classes.
Yes,
because
and
of the numbers.
that's where they were, some of them were on our cart, and so
Oh.
that's where that kind of happened, yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah, so, but if that keeps growing like it is, we might need some more 2-pound
Mhm.
and or 3-pound
Yeah.
weights for the hand weights.
I can't get over how many people on the side now are coming to those classes now, and a lot more men in the Wednesday Strength and Balance than
And
I've
that-
seen before, which has been really nice, and some have carried over from the Parkinson's support group, actually, who has felt it's been very valuable, so
Yes.
that's been great.
That is great, that is great.
Okay, anything else from ADRC? Okay, then let's move back to the vouchers then, as long as everyone's had a chance to look at those.
I move approval.
Second.
By Jen, second by Jay. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, moving to operations, the Art D-Stash.
Yes, Laura and I were talking about the radio this morning. I didn't know I was on air. I was
Oh.
waiting for Lonnie, and then I was like, where is he? And then I thought I got disconnected, and then he came on, and he was like, oh, hey, Tammy. I guess it would help if I pressed the button. And I'm like, oh, it's okay, it happens. And I didn't know we were live. And so I said, oh, but before we get started, which I thought before we go live, I want to make sure to mention the Art and Craft D-Stash. He's like, okay.
It was fine.
Yeah,
And I was
thought so
like,
too. I thought
yeah,
it
I
flowed
was
well.
fine.
And then he's like, so, let's talk about what. Oh my God, in my mind, and I couldn't say it out loud, I'm like, we're on the air. And then I got all nervous.
Watch out for those hot mics.
I'm like, where's the mute button? Oh my gosh, that was so funny. But yeah, so we are very excited that we did get enough to run the D-Stash. I think the last time I checked, there were 23
Oh, good.
spaces full.
Ooh,
And
wow.
we knew kind of that it probably wouldn't be as big as our fall craft show that moves into the other building, and it's probably too cold anyway. But we can still possibly get some more in before that time. We did get one envelope that came in, so hopefully that's another one. So we're excited about that. It's going to be unique and a little bit of a different offering, and hopefully I think everyone can clean out their closets once a year. So
Yeah.
hopefully it'll be kind of an annual, it's our spring thing, because we stopped doing our annual craft show in the spring. So it could maybe be that. So we'll see. It'll be something new and fun, so we're excited about that. So it will run. Does anyone have any comments or questions on the D-Stash?
I did hear that the $25, I guess I thought that was a good, there's a $25 fee
Yeah.
to have tables. One or two tables, you can get two for that, and for one space. And anyway, the person said she didn't really have very much, but she could share a table. So I don't know if that would be another thing that maybe in the future, or maybe Vicki did this, I don't know, where just to say, if you're in, I don't know if you'd be willing to have names, then say, well, would be able to take one table, if you get another, to split it. I don't know how logistically that would work. But
Yeah, no, that's a very good question. So Vicki has mentioned that she's been getting questions on
Okay,
that exact thing. So I don't know if that person maybe also then did call in.
okay,
And Vicki's like, if you and a friend want to share a table,
yeah,
you work out how you're gonna split the cost. We
Yeah.
just need the $25,
Okay.
and then you can choose. But again, it's only one space, so
Right.
but if they only have a few things, we tell them the size of the space, and then if they can fit their things, then why not?
Right.
That they could certainly share that table. But we'd have to get registration from both for the state reporting.
oh, okay.
So-
But both, but one check for the 25? Or
Right,
yeah,
right, because we don't, the state doesn't collect the financial information, just who's selling.
Yep.
And so that's where we would have to get, so if they're sharing a space, they still both need to fill out the state form.
Okay.
Yeah.
So people are just bringing craft supplies and selling it? Is that-
Yes.
Oh,
Supplies,
Extra stuff
After
there.
supplies, okay.
yep, and so say they have,
The hoarders among us.
Yes. And if they have like display racks that they no longer are using, they can sell those as well. They cannot bring finished product. That's not what this is. That's our craft show. So this is just all of your extra stuff. Like, remember when scrapbooking was a huge thing? I have a lot of that stuff in my basement that's not
People
used.
have yarn, they have
Yes,
fabric,
yes.
they have
Paints and-
paints.
Yeah,
and-
yeah.
Actually, when there hadn't, well, maybe there were 15 tables or something at that point, I had asked Vicki, and she kind of read through, because part of the application is you write down, what you might be selling.
Mhm.
And there was really a nice variety of different things. It wasn't like everybody had the fabric and nothing else.
Right.
It was really, it sounded like a nice.
Yes, and I really have to, kudos to Vicki, because she is in charge of of those big events, and she was just, frustrated because everyone's doing the same thing. So
Yeah.
she started to really research what's different, what's new. I think she found this idea, it was down in Madison area somewhere or something, and she kind of reached out to people, figured out, what is this, tell me about it, how does it work, and then she brought it to me, and then of course Stephanie, and we kind of brainstormed a little bit, and we weren't sure, and it's like, why don't we just throw it out there? Because you never know if it's going to work or not, right? It doesn't hurt anything for us to give it a try. And at first we were a little concerned. We're like, well, I guess this might not work. And then all of a sudden, the more she promoted it on Facebook and other means, people started calling or messaging us and asking questions about it.
Well, I think the first time is tough
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
That's
And
very
this is a
true.
different term that it's not
Right.
common.
Right.
Yeah, that's very true. And so hopefully we can go, a good 3 years or so without too many copycats. Being kind of selfish. So we'll see. But she'll probably just find something else, I'm sure, between the three of us searching on how we can bring something different and unique into the community. So yeah, very excited about it. Any other comments or questions on that? No? Okay.
Okay, moving on to health fair.
Okay, so super happy about DStash. Kind of sad about the health fair. It's not looking like it's gonna happen. So we just, as much as we pushed it and went and stopped at places and talked to people, they'd say they would be interested, and we're like, okay, give us a call, confirm for sure. We might have gotten, if a handful. And so, and then I think the girls were saying too, in the past, they found that community-wide, the health fairs haven't been doing as well as in the past. So I don't know if historically you all know about like health fairs, and if they, they're just not happening as much. So what we thought of is I was thinking, if we can't run it as a big event, and I talked to the county about it too, because they were gonna come. And I talked and said, what could we run it as a workshop? So what if we have one or two that are interested in sharing information, whatever the health-wise might be. I know Golden Harvest was interested at first. They had said, we have a couple things we might like to talk to the public about. So that's what I think I'm gonna start doing, is reaching out to them individually and saying, you know what, instead of the health fair, would you be interested in running a workshop on the topic that you were thinking of discussing? And so we'll kind of take that approach and see if we can just expand our workshops. Still information, it's just not all in one place at one time. So yeah, so that might work. Anybody else have any other suggestions or ideas?
Well, did we thought about maybe doing this in partnership with somebody like the Marshfield Clinic, or especially now Spirus seems to be open to trying to partner with different groups in the community, since they've become more of a community oriented. And I might suggest, when Ministry owned Good Sam, we did a health fair in the evening, and it was extremely well done, but it was done till about 9 o'clock at night.
Oh.
And we were desperate for volunteers at that time, and that's why, when you think about it with our group, I was just wondering if they're interested in having a health fair themselves with us, and we could provide some of those volunteers, because that last one was extremely well done. They did blood pressure checks and
Yes,
all
exactly.
kinds
That's
of
what we were shooting
strange
for.
things
Yeah.
like that, and
People
and
just
it,
don't
it
want
was
to be
well
healthy.
done for a lot of people, and we ended up, I think, with an evaluation afterwards that we had given to people as they walked out the door, and it was extremely well accepted. But again, Ministry at that time was really a public type of partnership. Ascension never was, and I'm not sure about Aspirus right now, but I would think they might be open to maybe,
Yeah, I
instead
think
of trying to do it here
Right.
ourselves.
that probably makes more sense, right? Being that that's what they're in,
Yeah.
is that field. And then we could get involved at some level. Like with volunteers, that's a good idea
Right.
too.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I can check and see if maybe they're planning something already. you
Well,
know?
call Jane up there, and she seems to know most
What's
of
going on.
on.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Because our previous board, when the board was trying to expand on their public offerings, we were a little bit surprised that we had a similar experience. The previous one, which was done during the day, didn't go well. So this one was done in the
In
evening,
the evening.
which is more logical, since some people still work for a living.
And you know what, for some reason, I just thought about our community night out too, when you said evening stuff too, because that
Yeah,
kind of
it's
sorta is representative
4 to
of,
7 time frame
yeah,
is
is, and they have, you know, the fire here, that all the resources, and it's not specifically health, but there's health integrated into it, so, you know, maybe that's why too, that they, but yeah, I can check more into it and see, if we can at least partner. Yeah, I was excited about that too, I'm kinda disappointed that it didn't take off. Just cause, you know, everything we do is kinda centered around wellness and health. So, we'll keep trying. All right.
Anything else in the health fair? Okay, workshop.
Okay, so yes, very excited about our workshops. If you look at in our newsletter on page 7 for March coming up, Jeff Kirsten is coming back, which is great. The Division of Trade and Consumer Protection. I only have the 2 sessions in here right now, but I have him booked through almost the summer. So he's coming back multiple times to offer multiple different workshops focused on things such as safe online shopping, common scams and frauds. He's doing a number of things for us here, which we're very glad that, I think we got him early enough to get on his schedule. So he was, you know, the reason he's running 2 on the same day is he comes from Madison. So I said, you know, rather than you travel up, we can run 2, and that might be kind of nice. People might just break for lunch and come back. The one that we are going to have, which I'll get into a little bit more in our next meeting, and I can send you the information, is we're going to have a business lunch and learn with him as the speaker about business frauds and different things that affect businesses. So that one I'm really excited about because we'll have a lunch catered in. I'm going to have RSVPs for that, of course. So I'll get more information. I'm kind of front end working on that right now. I'm going to call the chamber to get them involved. So hopefully that one goes well. Hopefully it's a big turnout for that. And then we have the Boost Your Brain and Memory through the ADRC, so it shows the topics for each of those 8 weeks that I just had talked about. And then furthermore, we have Hogum and team coming back, which is nice. And again, power of attorney, long-term care and Medicaid and estate planning. We have all those dates secured. And then we also have a walking home workshop offered in April or May. It's focused on getting your affairs in order for end of life. There's more information to follow, and Gigi is the one who's going to be actually doing that. She's on a new venture. Yes, yes. I think she finished up all of the training and such, and now, you know, she has a lot of rods in the fire, so she wanted to get it started sooner, but she realized I can only do so much as one person. So she's going to be offering that for us. So I think our workshops are scheduled, if I'm not mistaken, up to August, July, August, yeah. So we've learned the hard way on that too. It's like you've got to get people at the beginning of the year scheduled out, because otherwise the calendars fill up rather quickly. So happy to bring and partner with people to bring that information to our community.
I think your mech team pictures on the front are really original too.
Yes.
Aren't they? Do you know what that is? Avoidance of my staff not wanting their picture taken.
So you do that?
Guess what?
Well,
The next newsletter will have a picture. I'm like, ladies, they want to know who we are, and they're like, they already know.
Well, I want to know who's who in that picture.
I think it's from left to right.
Oh,
I didn't put it in, but Vic did, so I'm thinking that that's what it is.
Vicky does nothing but lay down on the
Oh,
job.
I was gonna say somebody's
Yeah.
laying down
Tammy's
on
in
the
charge.
Yeah.
On the job.
And Stephanie's just short.
Well, and Stephanie's always on the phone.
There you go.
Yes,
Yeah.
being a multitasker.
Nice beards.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Sarah.
I like the beards.
Oh my God.
Yeah, those are good.
Yeah, and
Thinking
what was
about
last
that.
month? I don't know what last month was, the February, what did we have on
Tammy
February?
should-
February, you did have you guys in pink.
Oh,
We did,
coordinated,
we
yeah.
pulled an old photo
Yeah.
that was acceptable.
Oh,
Well, they don't age, so.
Yeah.
you can pull out photos.
That's that nice blurring option that you
Yeah,
have.
Photoshop.
Right, Photoshop, exactly. So yes, we'll make sure our next month has our faces.
You
in
should
there
try
so
a beard,
people know.
Tammy, it would attract some attention.
Moving on to city updates.
That was fun. Okay, so I just asked Rod Akey if there were any city updates, because we have been getting questions about things, of course, and we've had questions. As far as Aldi's goes, his
Yes.
response, cannot confirm or deny.
Okay.
That's all I got.
All right,
So that's that.
okay.
The next thing is the armory update.
Yeah.
So the city secured through the Biermans $400,000 to be able to have the building. And they already have, I don't know if it's in writing yet or not, or signed, but the Boys and Girls Club is looking to do, if I'm not mistaken, I confirmed this with him, a 25-year lease. Okay,
Wow.
I had to double check again today with him that I heard that right. They're looking to raise 1.5 million to do improvements, and they, something about 5 years of operation that he said as well. Can you?
I don't know.
Okay,
much
so
about
I don't
that.
know if that's, so he,
But they wanted a longer lease. They initially wanted,
oh,
city wanted a 10-year lease, but they obviously wanted a longer one, Boys and Girls Club, since they're putting that kind of money in the
yeah,
armory,
yeah.
a brand new roof and modifications on the inside, so that's why it probably went to 25 instead of 10.
Oh,
That would be my
okay.
guess.
Because of the investment,
Yeah,
yeah, okay.
And then
Did
that
you-
would move out of the middle school?
yes.
And how would kids get there then, the Merrill Road?
Bus, it's on the bus route, so there's ample parking. The garages will be used for
Yeah.
park and rec,
Park and Rec, yes, thank
for
you.
their equipment, tractors, trucks, whatever they have.
Tammy, did you say 400,000 or 100,000?
400.
For,
Mhm.
The state owns that?
yeah, and initially if it would have been brand new, it would have been a $700,000 building.
Oh,
If initially we had done it ourselves, brand new, so.
Mhm.
And of course, the fair wants control of that area too,
Yeah.
as well, for potential use someday.
There's not opposition to that, is there? Or-
No, it passed unanimously, right?
The fair,
For
so
the
the
fair,
fair
I mean-
wants
I mean,
control
for the-
of,
No,
'Cause
the
it's on-
city,
no.
the
Oh, the
city.
city.
bought
Oh.
it.
Yeah, the city is the one that bought it.
that's what I
Yeah,
thought,
City
so,
wants control of it, but obviously Fair Board wants city in control of it too, so,
oh, gotcha.
yeah. So, yeah, that's what I figure the lease was extended for that reason, because they're putting
Okay, that makes sense.
that kind of renovation on it, so.
Does the footprint just include the area out to the street and around to the back of the building, or is it bigger than that?
That I don't know.
It's bigger than that. The garage that the armory had built behind the armory itself, the National Guard had built that, and that's part of that too.
And all the money came from the Bierman Foundation? 400,000?
Well, this fair used to have displays in there,
Right, it was
a
used for
long
the
time
fair.
ago, yeah, big time.
Mhm.
Who did, I'm sorry?
The fair.
The fair did? Okay, okay.
I remember that.
Mhm.
They used to have sometimes the dairy breakfast was there.
Oh.
True.
Before it moved out to the park.
And 4-H displays used to
4-H displays,
be
I remember
in there
that.
big time.
Hunter safety.
Groups.
Okay.
Tim, I'm not sure, Mark, is one entity going to maintain the total lease for that entire time, or are they going to sublet part of that? Is that what the plan, you know, is?
That I don't know.
Yeah, we haven't really discussed that.
Well, I was just wondering for operational costs, if you were, I presume you're assured that somebody's gonna have sufficient resources to pay the operational
Right.
costs for all
The
of
heater
it.
and cooling and stuff. I don't know what the details are in that.
And how much is the Boys and Girls Club putting in?
I heard they're looking at a new roof and then modifying some of the the shooting range into like classrooms or something like that. I don't know what the gym situation is. There's a gymnasium there. So I don't know if they need baskets or that. I don't know what's all in there.
I had heard something around, it was gonna cost them close to $750,000, if not more, in order to do all the renovations that they needed in order to make it good for the Boys and Girls Club.
But, you know, I think they're closely affiliated with Wausau.
Yeah.
And they're very well organized. They're gonna do the bulk of the fundraising.
Mhm.
There might be some heating, cooling issues too.
They closed the agreement on it, so it's a
I
done deal.
No, I don't believe so. I think there's still discussion on it yet.
Well, good.
I think it'll be a good asset to the community.
I do too.
Anything that helps our kids.
Yeah, and, you know, you
Keep
have
busy and,
Hopefully we'll use it.
3 schools on this side of town, high school. You
Mhm.
know, you can bring those mentors down.
Yeah.
It'll be easy for them.
Yeah, I think it'll be good.
Okay, anything else on city update?
Those are the only two things he provided, so, yeah.
And Mark, anything?
Anybody else know anything else city-wise going on?
Okay, anything else for discussion? Thoughts for next time?
You can always message me
I
or
can't go
call.
home yet.
One of the hot things around, is baking now. Sourdough and baking
yes.
things.
Mhm. Even my busy daughter is a sourdough starter.
Yes, my daughter wants to all of a sudden.
Yeah, that is a big
It's
deal.
fabulous.
Friend and I are going away 2 weeks.
A class?
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
able to see.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Just baking,
There's,
just baking in general. I mean,
Yes.
You could have a class.
Yes.
Somebody knows what they're doing.
Well, some years ago, you know, when we put up those signs for the schools, or where the schools are, going this way and that way and whatever, downtown, and, you know, we had talked about maybe adding the Enrichment Center on the bottom of that with some direction about where we are.
It is, right here on the corner. It's on, before you turn onto Third, there's one there on the main street on 64. Are you talking somewhere
Well,
different?
I'm talking about both ends of town, out there by the highway as well as over coming in on 64 from the west.
I could ask Dustin if he would
Yeah.
put some more.
Because there are people who, nowadays, everybody who's current looks on their phone, find every place, but there are people who sometimes still, even up at my farm, people have stopped and asked how to get to this place, and they're on the wrong end of town.
Okay,
It
so,
wouldn't take much to add a little 2-inch strip on the bottom of some of those school signs or whatever they do. I don't know how they do that.
The blue ones, right?
The blue ones, yeah.
the which ones?
The blue ones, blue school signs.
I can check and see if they, you know, I don't know how many signs they can have with signs, because then they kind of
Can't read them fast
can't
enough.
read them fast enough, but,
Well, they're on the pole on various parts of town.
yeah, and we have one, like I said there,
Yeah,
and honestly, it's with a bunch of others too, so the only thing that stands out is our tree.
yeah.
So at least that captures attention instead of just words, because people are like, what's the tree about? And then the Enrichment Center is at the bottom of that. But we're talking on other entry
Into town, yeah.
into town, okay. Well, and they still, some of the people, depending on how old their GPS is, they still send them to the little white house on that side of
Oh.
64. We've had packages delivered there that have gone missing.
Where?
Some packages have
Little
been
White House.
brought
yeah,
to
I was
us.
thinking you meant right here, but you're talking across the road.
Third Street, yep, across the road. So
Oh.
when people do a GPS to come here, it takes them to a little white house across 64 on the left side. I've been there a few times picking up our stuff. Yeah, it hasn't happened in maybe a good half a year now, but it'll still take them there. And obviously, when they drive up to a little white house, they're like, that can't really be the enrichment center. So even a post office that time, remember they delivered some of our stuff over there and just left it on
Does
the.
someone live there? At this house?
They used to, because I would go
Yeah.
get her stuff.
Yeah.
But then it was vacant, and that's when the post office left some of
really?
our stuff sitting outside, and then it disappeared. So, yeah. So GPS updates are important.
Mhm.
You know, for finding us, because if they type in Merrill Enrichment Center or where is this, it should be able to now have them ping the grounds, if nothing else. If it's not exact, it's the grounds, which is really helpful. So, yeah, but we'll look into some more signs as well.
Maybe just one in front of the little White House.
Exactly. Not here. Head north. Head north. You have not arrived at the Enrichment Center. Oh, that's funny.
Getting back to the baking, I still wonder if like someone from the tech school, I don't know if they ever go outside of their realm to do
And we've
teaching
explored
classes.
the baking and cooking. We tried to get some chefs from Greeby's a number of years
Oh.
ago, and you know, some other people. But we can certainly look at it again. I think it's sourdough starters. I've heard really interesting things about how difficult that is.
This sourdough thing, I think, is
It's a huge grade.
being presented by a lady whose name I can't tell you, because I've seen her doing something down in Wausau.
Oh,
My
okay.
cousin's doing it in, I think she's probably done it now.
Okay.
Friend and I are doing it in early March.
Okay, give us feedback, because Gigi said she tried one, I think, and she's like, yeah, that didn't go well. And I've heard a lot of other people too, like, oh, it seems like it's easy, but it's challenging.
My goddaughter made cinnamon rolls at Christmas time, and they were spectacular.
Ah, yeah. I'm
It's
hungry.
supposed to be healthy.
Healthier
for you.
for you.
Yeah, sourdough. And
Sourdough.
while I cheat, I go get mine from either Golden Harvest or Polka Dotted Pie Girls.
Yeah.
then I know I'm going to get to eat it. I'd be right after. But I do like the baking and cooking thing. I mean, we've played with it before and tried to get people, but it never really took off. But we can certainly look more into it.
You've got such a beautiful kitchen there. It's
Yes,
just,
yeah. It would be fun to do that. I used to run my health section on my memory, brain, and health workshop that I used to do. And then for food for the brain, we would go in there and we'd make healthy smoothies and do different things like that. And everybody seemed to enjoy that. Yeah.
What's the, it's a shop in Madison, it's a little Orange Tree Imports, has anyone ever been? But they had, this was a gajillion years ago when we lived down in that area, but they had slanted mirrors,
Mhm.
so that the people that were sitting away could watch the preparation, it was just
interesting.
really, and
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't a huge fancy setup or anything,
Yeah.
but it was just much easier to, for people to see what was going on. And
Right.
yeah, so if anything ever got off the ground, that might be something.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah, we'll definitely explore that. I think that's a really good idea.
Food brings people together.
Yes, it's
Oh,
true.
it does.
So I don't know what, I haven't been to an art, do they still have those art shows, annual art shows at the high school? In the
I
spring?
think so. The kids usually.
Because they,
Linda DeBrew used to be.
yeah,
Yeah.
well,
She had been there, I don't know if. they
Because-
do that.
yeah, but they always had, during the art shows, they always had little desserts, and stuff and cool things that were made by the
Mhm.
students in
Oh.
a class
Mhm.
at the high school.
At the high school.
So there have to be some teachers at the high school, whoever in that department.
Oh,
that,
yeah.
You mean like home ec?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
do
home
they
ec.
still have one?
But they changed it
Yeah,
to
they-
family
Do
and
they?
consumer, they changed it to FACE,
Oh.
family and consumer education.
Okay. Well, that
Home
would even
ec.
be closer to home.
Yeah.
If there was someone
Home
through
ec.
there, yeah.
But they were delicious, you know, whoever was teaching those kids how to bake those, you know, treats.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did that for their community education, all their classes that they're doing now, but at night. You know, so if ours was during the day, well, of course they were in school then, but yeah, because they have all of their, I think there was a baking one that I saw. What, was there? Yeah, when I was looking at all of their offerings. Yeah, in that flyer, so, right, so she,
I'm sure I kept it.
Classes that are offered.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of them. I heard them I thought it was the radio where they said the goal was 10 and they got 30
Yeah.
classes,
Yeah.
so.
yeah, she said she was gonna
That's
just
great.
start small. Well, that's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
As long as you
exactly.
can, space-wise and everything, it looks like it's working beautifully. But again, the only differentiation we have is we're here during the day. Like now that's at night, and then the Creative Spirit, is it?
Mhm.
You know, they're more afternoons, nights, weekends, you know,
Targeting
and they're
different-
offering a lot of that kind of stuff. As a matter of fact, there was a chef that came in, and then you had a whole experience with wine and food pairing and everything else. So again,
Yeah.
all of the things in our town that are offered, which is great, but we have to find our niche in that and offer during the day when we're here versus night and competing and all of those things, so, yeah. But food is always good.
Yes, it is.
Mhm. Yes, it is. Food is always good. Definitely good. All right, so we will check into those options.
Okay, anything else before we adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
Okay,
I second it.
okay.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you, everyone. I think this is a record.
It's a record for
Yeah.
me.